Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Seattle Seahawks, and they are trying to do what's never been done before in the NFL playoffs, and that is win a playoff game as a 7 seed. 7 seeds all time are 0-6. Now, Seattle has the talent, but San Francisco right now is red hot, and they come into Wild Card Weekend having won 10 straight football games, trying to take down Seattle for a third straight time this season. Now, since 1970, teams that won the first two are 14-9 in Game 3. That was a little bit surprising to me, but the 49ers went 8-0 at home as favorites this season and are currently favored by 9.5. Now, I don't know what it is, but there feels like something special going on right now with Seattle, and I feel like with the slippery, sloppy game that we're supposed to be having tomorrow, this time tomorrow, about 24 hours from now, I feel like an upset could be brewing. And it's being led by Geno Smith, and we'll talk about all this a little bit later on in the video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Seahawks fans, I appreciate you guys so much. It's been a while since I made a video on the Seattle Seahawks. It's been way too long, actually. So let's try and get this video to 100 likes. That would be absolutely awesome. If you want more Seahawks content, let me know down below. But as we know, comeback player of the year, Pro Bowler Geno Smith on the season. He's having a phenomenal year. 70% completion percentage, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He has a rating of 100.9. It just feels like something special, man, and I don't know what it is. Statistically speaking, rookie quarterbacks are miserable in the playoffs. They've lost like 6 straight starts, and I get that San Francisco, their defense is so talented, right? They're so good. Now, Seattle on the season, they've only scored 20 combined points in their 2 matchups against San Francisco. Now, when I look back to the first matchup, which was week 2 of the regular season, the Seahawks lost 7-27. I personally don't put too much stock into it. I don't put too much stock into that game whatsoever. All right, now if we go back to more recently, midway through December, about a month ago, 13-21. Now, had a couple of things gone differently in that football game, it would have had a different outcome, right? Seattle, they only had 3 points at halftime. They dropped a pick 6. There were just a couple of moments in that game that a lot of those guys wanted to have back. But I will say this, Geno Smith, he had a much better game the second matchup than the first matchup. He went 31-44, 238 yards, and a touchdown for a rating of 90.9. Geno Smith and the defense are going to be the X factors for this playoff game, because when you're going up against a rookie quarterback and you're going to be on the road, you need to get him as uncomfortable as possible. Seattle has plenty of playmakers on their defensive side, but they also have this thing, they don't really have anything to lose. San Francisco they do have an out, I guess. It's a third-string rookie quarterback. Kyle Shanahan has an out here. But Seattle was not projected to be in the playoffs this season. They were not projected to go 9-8. They were not supposed to be here. And keep in mind, their future is still set up. That Russell Wilson trade gave them a boatload of draft capital, including the 5th overall pick and now 3 of the top 40 selections. So the future of the Seattle Seahawks it's still looking great. Hopefully Geno Smith comes back. That's for a different day, different subject. But when you're going up on the road against a rookie QB, you want him to turn the ball over, and you don't want to turn the ball over. I know Geno's had some turnover issues on the season, but if they can play a clean game, he has 11 interceptions, he has 2 lost fumbles on the year. If Geno can just do what he does best and not try and do anything crazy, just don't force anything, he should be fine. And it should be a closer game than anticipated. Now, defensively, you have a lot of cats like Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen has 6 interceptions on the season. You got Jordan Brooks, 161 total tackles on the year. Darrell Taylor, 4 forced fumbles on the season. Kobe Bryant, 4 forced fumbles on the season. They have guys who can get sacks. They have guys who can force fumbles. They have guys who are going to put pressure on Brock Purdy and force him to make throws. So, to me, if you play a clean offensive game, and to be honest with you, Kenneth Walker is going to have a large portion to do. He had a much better, or he actually didn't play in the first game of San Francisco Seattle, but he had it wasn't the craziest, but it definitely wasn't the worst game. 12 carries, 47 yards in that second matchup. That's about 3.9 yards per carry. If you can run the football in the playoffs, you can win in the playoffs. Kenneth Walker ended the season on 3 straight 100-yard games. Finishes the year with 1,050 yards rushing. Keep in mind, he didn't start every single game. He didn't play every single game. Finishes with 9 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry. Kenneth Walker III is going to be a huge factor in this slippery, sloppy game. So I'm not saying the Seahawks are 100% going to upset, but I can see exactly how. Forced turnovers from Brock Purdy, that's one thing he's done a great job of since he came into the interim starter. But there are still some hiccups. As we saw in the last matchup against Seattle and San Francisco, dropped pick 6. Brock Purdy will make mistakes. And it's going to come down to the Seattle Seahawks defense taking advantage of those mistakes. Now, offensively, they have enough firepower to take down, like I said, I know San Francisco has a very good defense. They have Depoy and Nick Bosa. They have guys who are going to get turnovers. They're going to put pressure on Geno. I get it. They have a great defense. But Seattle can hold their own against anybody, offensively speaking, 100%. They came in 9th in offensive rating on the season, putting up about 24 points a game. We've talked about it all season. At the end of the day, Seattle, at the time of all these videos, it was if Seattle wants to make the playoffs, the defense, or if they want to make a run in the playoffs, the defense is going to have to step up. It's a young defense, but they're going to have to step up. Offensively, you're going to have to limit turnovers, but they have the playmakers. Geno Smith, obviously, Kenneth Walker, obviously, but you have 2,000-yard receivers in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So get those cats the ball. They have an interesting 3 tight end lineup that really forces opponent teams to just throw out these interesting personnels to match up with the 3 tight end look, and it puts the defense in a pickle, and it lets the Seattle Seahawks get creative on the offensive front. So I anticipate Noah Fant, Will Disley, and Colby Parkinson to all have their own impacts in this game on Saturday. Don't forget about Marquise Goodwin. He's a nice player, putting up about 15 yards per reception. So Seattle they can hold their own against any team in this league. And I don't know, I know that stat 14-9 against teams who are 2-0 winning that third game. I don't think that's that great of a statistic for a team like San Francisco. Right? I do believe an upset is possible here. Let me know what you guys are thinking, especially if you're a Seahawks fan. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on a possible upset tomorrow. But as always, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I cannot wait to watch this game, and I'll see you guys later.